Good morning, everybody. How are you guys doing? Um, I got comments and stuff from last time. People, watching in India. Okay. Uh, um, it's the weekend. We woke up late. uh, uh, no, I woke up on time. I got up on time. I spent time just sitting and talking to myself in the mirror. That's what you get for having attention deficit disorder and just going, la la la, brain fog. December daily, December monthly. I was gonna write it down. Number two, I have another account on my that I write it into. I could do this keyboard. Um, yeah. Let's see. Anything new happening? Uh, no, I haven't gotten anywhere that I need to be for anything. Ooh, we'll go pink today. I'm gonna tattoo me. That's what I should do. I should do my nails today. Talk to you while I do my nails. Um, didn't stay hydrated yesterday. Ate ramen noodles for lunch. Did I do any? Why do I have a mechanical pencil in my purse? I hate mechanical pencils. I love people who love mechanical pencils, but I hate mechanical pencils. I have a lot of things that I love people who love things, but I don't love things like bobbleheads. I personally don't like bobbleheads. They're very, very scary. They just sit there and bobble. It's just like that's the only thing that moves their body is just not right. How they just so scary. But for the people that love bobbleheads, I love people who love bobbleheads. I got a bobblehead for my birthday, and I was like, yeah, it's Baby Yoda. You can't go wrong. The child. Cuckoo. We can now call him Grogu, 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 something. Grocgu. So it's Grogu, Grok. G-O-C. Does the U on the end make it an O sound or a U sound? But we pronounce the U. It doesn't silence. So it should be. It's not English. It's Star Wars. So universally spoken. And I can't remember how it's pronounced on the show. And so, like, excited watching it that my mind blanks out on how it's pronounced in the show. So it's either got to have an A or an O. Grogu. I keep calling Grogu because otherwise, Crocs. Though somebody posted a meme where the elf on the shelf takes different forms of things that rhyme, and they put Baby Yoda on a croc, so maybe it's Graku, the Kraken. I don't know. He's cute, and I would think that he'd have more of a rounding name instead of the harsh sound of k on there. But or green. I don't know. Maybe they took green. Maybe they took like green and um what's an R sound for? What's an R word for lovable? Um, really, or just like green, really, I don't know. And then just like this acronym for like, maybe they called them something different. I don't know. Okay, so I'm looking at doing a December. This is what I want to do for January ahead of time. I'm going to do this one. I'm not going to do this one. This is just a random thing. I'm thinking for the brain dump that I might do. Yeah, that is overwhelming. Okay. I did like here's the ones, the tens, the hundreds for like schooling. Nine ended up being way overwhelming. She was asking questions like we all do, like I do, like I'm gonna steal some, like, physical. I have a whole bunch of stuff so that I don't waste paper, but there's a few paper notebooks that I'm gonna steal from my parents. Okay, we're on brain dump. Okay, I did not pick up on now. Anti-brain fog recipe. So I did exercise a bit. That's funny because staying the weekend with just my youngest. She's there with me, and she's being watched by either one of us. Um, so I get up in the morning uh, with my partner, and a youngest there. She's like, "All right, sit up, Lena. Sit up." And he's like, "How I need to do this?" She's like, "Enough." She's got full cuteness on, and if anything, it was great, moment for us. And she's having a get up, sit up. He's like doing sit ups, and I'm like, no, no, she doesn't have a totally obsessed with fitness or obsessed with being working out in the morning, making him work out like it's a natural thing. We all sat there and did like sit ups on the bed. I did my like, the ones where you do the crunches, where you do the side. So I like the definition. Um, yeah, it's pink, and I want to write things out, but I'm going to get my creative juice flowing. These are tattoo markers. I found them at Walmart. Um, Again, I don't have anything associated. I have no sponsors. So the stuff I show you, no sponsors. Um, it's by Body Mark by Beck. This is Body Ink by Beck. This one's pink. So I do cute little tattoos and hearts or whatever. They dry out a bit if you're not careful. But yeah, the kids, my oldest used to watch a tattoo show on I can't remember that channel. Home channel? Something. TLC channel, right? It's like LA Ink or something. She was like 3 at the time. Oh no, my pink is there's pink. It's not coming out as well. Get it flowing, get it flowing, get it flowing. Here. Yeah, what about a flower? It's not flowing. The pink was left unlidded for a while, so this sucker. I had a brown, because when I had a brown too, but I think it's inside the coat lining somehow. I lost things to my coat lining, but I can't find it in the pocket. Brown. No, no, I think my brown's not in the coat lining. I think I have a pencil or pen. Okay, we have brown. These are cool. I got them for my birthday. No, I got them. No, for somebody else's birthday. I bought them a set and realized I obsessed over it. And my oldest, who lives with her dad, um, in another state with my son. They live in another state with their dad. So I'm trying to figure out how to make enough money at home because I still have to be at home to raise my other kids and still be able to provide for all my kids, all 4 of them. So, um, that looks, that looks cool. And so I'm thinking about YouTubing, but not being YouTube as the money that comes in, but as a promotion of the other things that I do. It seems to be the most profitable. So, like, when somebody writes a book and then they have a YouTube channel that's basically about the book subject, talks about the book, promotes the book, they do pretty well. It's like they have this thing of work and then they just promote it and do things around the center of work. With my particular creative flow, I don't know if I can manage to work in YouTube's parameters of, hey, have a niche and you'll make money, or if I'll be on the thousands of the wave coming of people that redirect YouTube into, hey, do all these creative things on YouTube and like reformat how YouTube can work for having more than one creative niche because you have attention deficit disorder, you have a very creative mind, and you are a creative person who has nothing but ideas. And I'd like to see some of my ideas fruition. Um, Castle. I still want the castle. Yeah, it's the first four part of my mind is the discussions I had with my life partner, and it's just he doesn't support my castle idea. He's anti castle idea. He doesn't like it. And I'm like, oh, okay, well then don't like it, whatever. I'm just gonna go do it myself. And he's not. Yeah. It's funny because he's like, I can't believe you're okay with me switching jobs when I he and I had hooked up this last, to be roommates and everything. He went from the job he was in, which is in a factory, and he was not happy with his job, but he's one of those grit people who will get in there and just do it whether or not he likes it, whether or not he hates it, whether or not and he was going to do it like for the rest of his life. And an opportunity came for him to get into a career. Most electricians, they don't start their apprenticeship so late. A lot of them start them really young. He had already done a whole lot of electrical work and experience with that with his life. He's techie and done electrical, housing and stuff. He was a farm boy in his youth. And so when he went into this like job change, it's like he's like, I can't believe you're okay with that. I'm like, you're leaving a job you hate for a job you love where you have career opportunities for the rest of your life doing something you can wake up and do. And even on your bad days, it's okay because you really love it. And of course, I'm going to support it. Of course, I'm going to be okay with it. Of course, I'm happy. Of course, it comes with risks. But with anything, if bad things happen during the risk, like there was a shortfall, it scared the crap out of him. That when um, the company ended up, it was just starting out, and it didn't go the direction the company went under. So he was afraid that he wasn't going to get another job, but they're like, hey, here's a job for you. Here's, here's one through a bigger company. And he's in with this bigger company who's paying, who's supplying classes for him through his apprenticeship. And they go through apprenticeship, journeyman, all that stuff, semesters. And he's pretty good because he's done all that stuff in the past. He's like through this apprenticeship, he's just like the tests, he's acing the tests, and he's reading the books, and he's getting through all the stuff, and he slightly obsesses about it, watches more YouTube videos. I remember he watches them at night. That's his thing. And sometimes he'll just sit there and watch like electrician, like talking about how they hook up a house or something, or things that they do, or job site electrician YouTube videos. And he'll watch those. And it's just, something he's like, hey, check this out. And he gets excited. And I love watching him get excited about something. So the fact that it's how do I want to take not being encouraged about something that I get excited about? He tells me last night we had a nice, intense discussion, not an argument, where I'm so negative. He tells me how negative I am. Like, wake up and smell the coffee. Of course, I'm negative. Of course, I'm overly positive. I'm negative and positive at the exact same time. I have to live with that. That's inside my head. And now that I'm like spending weekends at home, spending the week helping out with my mom and trying to work at home and doing YouTube and all these other things, trying to get these things up off the ground, it's just, I'm like, wow, not getting the support that I don't know how many times I'm sitting there trying and trying and trying, and I didn't believe in myself. And now I believe in myself, and now I'm going to go do this stuff. And it's just different than what he expects. I don't know if it's because I wasn't going and believing in myself from the get go. I had to heal to this point to believe in who I am, and that I'm just going to keep going and keep doing what I love and what I believe in until I can make it sustainable, self-sustainable, so that I can like glide in, this is my life, this is how things are going, this is me doing what I love on good and bad days, no matter how good, no matter how bad, no matter which way I go with my bipolar. It bothers me. So yes, I'm discussing it with the whole world because my personal laundry, that bothers me. It's just so odd. How do I want to react? Let me bring myself back here. How do I want to react to not being encouraged the way I encourage others? Blows my mind. It's different than what I expect. It's, but I'm in control of what I'm doing. So regardless, I would love to spend my life, and it affects, you know, my lifetime roommate, my lifetime partner. So I want to respect that. But the other time, I can't respect what's not going to be true for me. What am I going to, so there's a bit of sacrifice there. There's a bit of sacrifice, certain levels or certain layers of our relationship. And it kind of pisses me off, but I'll get over that, and I'm like, I'm going to keep doing it. I'm here to love you, and you're there for me to love. Honestly, I get to an honest point. I'm sitting here going like, I'm a bit nervous about this, the face touch. This shows that, you're nervous about something. Like, yeah, I'm nervous about it because it's new to me and it's scary and I don't know where it is, but I know and I believe in the actions that I'm doing. That's the new stuff. It's like, I don't know where this is going, so I'm going to keep doing self-destructive stuff until I can figure out, no, I can't keep doing self-construction. I can't keep taking long walks off short lengths, into shark-infested waters. It's not going to work. I'm not. So I'm going to keep doing my tarot readings. I'm going to keep writing my stories. I'm going to keep making my quilts. Keep making, where I have, this one's going into the junk mail. Like these letters are going into junk journal. This one's probably going to get shredded and then made into paper water, or not paper and water made into like the paper clay, where you can make all sorts of projects to sell online. And I'm just going to keep making this stuff, and I'm going to keep going. And I'm going to keep doing what I believe in, which is to save the planet with some permanence. Instead of all this disposable stuff. And yeah, make a house, a place where I can live the rest of my life and retire, where I can afford to, put all this risk and all this, because it's a high risk. There's a possibility for high reward. Well, I'll either end up in some shack watching the sunsets in Australia, checking, my whole shack for deadly spiders because that's what I want to do when I'm old and nearly decrepit. Honestly, that sounds to live in an adventure. That's an adventure that I've wanted since the earliest part of my childhood. That's what it would be fulfilling. My retirement, that's what my retirement would be fulfilling. Writing books and, charting boats as an adventure to pay for the last adventure of retirement, to enjoy being, without having to worry about what kind of risks do I take, you know, with my kids living there as young and being able to provide for my kids. That kind of thing. Um, Working on trying to make others who just sit there and throw away half their life, you spend money on this stuff, and this money, if you work hourly, okay, there's a value of how much money you make. So the food that you eat, how long is it going to run you? If you eat healthy, how far is healthy food going to run you? If you buy shoes that last you longer, how many hours of work did you work towards those shoes that last longer? Towards a more permanent, towards that house that lasts you longer, or provides for others, or provides for your great grandkids, things that keep going continuously. We live on a planet that for 4.6 billion years has been all about a continuous cycle. We live in a sphere. We live in an atmosphere of a sphere. So us as people, nothing, we're the ones shooting things away from the planet, disposing things out in our atmosphere, above, that's they're relatively in orbit. The planet doesn't do that. It doesn't do that at all. So a plant dies. That nutrients, it dies where it was. So for 4.6 billion years. So for 4.5, billion years with millions worth da 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 up and millions of years. Okay, we've got what, 10,000, 20,000, 24,000. What, humans have been around for 24,000? You think about a million years, the last million years. Say a plant sat there, grew, it spread it up from a seed, it died, it let go of its seed, it planted its seed someplace else. It was, it got fertilized, or, from a bee or, insect or something, and it continued. But that stem didn't just sit there like plastic flamingo sitting in a gorgeous, like astroturf yard. Astroturf, that's not right. Astroturf yard. Um, it it wilted, it went into the ground, it provided nutrients for the other stuff growing. Or it was, perennial, where it continues to produce and produce and produce, year after year after year. Or, anything, how it just continues. But then an animal eats it. Maybe an animal of some sort eats the next berry, the fruit, the something, the seed, and it gets eaten, or it continuously goes back to its molecular, in a way, goes back to its molecular structure. It's broken down and it's redone. The water used to go into the atmosphere, travel the world, come back down the mountain, go into the rivers, go cycling through. I mean, it would travel around the world. Water would go up into the atmosphere, come down into the groundwater, kind of to the reservoirs and the lakes and all that, and then come back up. Be bringing the well water up, the lakes, the waters, the oceans, continuously. I mean, we're on nothing but for billions of years. Literally Billions. I mean, if you sat there and actually let the concept of billions of years hit you, billions of cycles around the sun hit you, it's been doing that for so many years. And we're like, we've been around for a couple thousand years, 10,000 years. We're just going to do it this way. We're going to do something, you stick it in there and it stays that way. And not that, not something that if given enough time, given a good billion years or less, it'll be packed into between a couple of plates and, be used for fossil fuel or something, compressed into like fossil fuel or a diamond or, something. I mean, even the decomposed stuff that's been sitting there, sitting there, sitting there, sitting there, she still does something where she pressurizes stuff in between a couple of plates. It's moving, where if it's been there long enough, she shoots out mountains. Mountains fall down to sand eventually. You got the biggest rock and it eventually falls down to sand. The concept of how long that takes. But the fact that nothing is wasted, it continues. There's a flow about this, a flow going on for a billion years. And I'd like to build a castle because I don't want a house that could fall apart because a mouse got in and bit some cords. Sure, it's going to have some problems. Sure, I'm going to have some gives and some takes with these less permanent houses that we build that should last a good lifetime, but not our great-great-grandchildren's lifetimes. So if I build a castle, we can build onto the castle. We can build on a new wing. Say one of my kids grow up, they can take a section of the business. I want to grow the business. I want to start off with a um, cute little like cafe. Okay, this is a long-term thing. This castle is a nice long-term for the big portion of my life, the big portion of my kids' lives, big portion. They can choose. They can go out and go be the doctor they want to be or the surgeon they want to be, and not come home and maybe just come for the holidays. Every so many holidays because they got the other holidays with their other, significant others, families, whatever, however it goes. But it's there. Should they break up, get a divorce because they've lived in a crazy house and they've grown up in a crazy house and they end up having a crazy life and they want to come home, they can come home to a castle. There's a house there. If they need a job, there's a job there. There's plenty of like a place where my castle would be this place where people who are falling on hard times can come live, have a job, build up, and leave. If they don't want to leave, they can help build up the rest of the castle. And there's these, and he's upset because the wifey, I don't get along with the wifey's kid, his kid. So he thinks I'm going to treat all these other people like them. I'm sorry, not everybody out there who's fallen on hard times or who has broken like lives or who are putting themselves together and healing are like going to be toxic to my child. It's just like choosing one person for another. It's just like, it's like saying that everybody out there is going to be toxic to my child and I shouldn't have them, be there. I like waking up knowing that I wake up to a job or wake up to, having enough managers or something that they can run it. I can have days off, go take vacations. Somebody's running the job, somebody's running the castle. And it can provide home and housing for people that I've known. I've had it where I've fallen on hard times because I'm just that crazy. And that's the type of permanence in my life that I can offer a ground and a foundation for somebody to pick themselves back up on. So, I've been there, I've done that, and I've had people help me. And I've watched like bed and breakfast. I lived in another apartment. It was gorgeous house with like there was an apartment on top. They converted this old house into an apartment up in the front, three apartments. We were the middle and gorgeous house. And the landlord and lady ran a bed and breakfast and had a couple other jack of all trade things that they were running. And I had my job, and then I also worked at the bed and breakfast. And then my ex-husband at the time, we were married at the time, my ex-husband, now ex-husband, husband at the time, he stayed home, I think, and watched the kids. But and I went out and I worked. I think I worked a couple of jobs to pay for rent. And the fact that I could work there, this bed and breakfast was, it was, it made me feel good. It gave me a sense of job security because one of the biggest things, in my young adult life was, did I have a vehicle to get to work? Because you can't always, especially when you're down on cash, sometimes your financial decisions did not go into your vehicles, to make payments. You're not going to be stupid and make payments on school and make payments on cars, make payments on houses, all these three different, making payments on all these things. And I bought out my cars, you know. So I bought out my cars at the time, and then I went and did those things where having, not knowing whether or not the car would work. Because if you spend a couple $100s on a car, you don't know when it's going to work or how long it's going to work, or. So having a vehicle, and I couldn't always put my money into the upkeep of the vehicle. I wanted to make sure there was food on the table for the kids, and it's crazy. That is totally crazy to me in a way that I'm not comfortable with being crazy. So socially, I am not getting anything written down for my daily goals and my sort out. I was going to sort everything out with you guys. And it's 7 o'clock, and it's the weekend, and I can sleep in. It'll make it difficult for me to go to bed tonight. So this is what I ended up. So cute. But so this castle, I'm going to start off nice and slow. And it'll be just like, I don't mind taking, like, say, an old school or an old church and starting with that. A nice, like, brick building would be ideal. But starting with a big thing and then being able to live on the property so that I know that as the weather's bad, I can still get to work. Whether, if that I don't have to worry about if a vehicle will take me to work, so that I don't have to worry about all these things. So if I wake up and I'm groggy and and the bipolar makes depression really hard, I can still get to work on time. That's another thing. And I would like to be able to somehow provide, like, daycare for the kids, for the people that work there. That's another one that I've been like, that's epic. Or just somebody that watches the kids. I'm like, here's somebody who's watching the kids and that you could trust, and that the kids are on site. That's epic. To have kids on site while you work would be another dream of mine. Would be like, that should be norm. The kids can help out, or the kids can be just cared for and learn and do fun things, and childcare is cared for. So that's one of the things that I want to work on, is getting licensed to be a daycare in the castle. So, but I don't want that to be its business. I want it to start off with, say, a cafe. And as the cafe gains financial momentum, a lot of people will just open up another location, additional location. So should the cafe build up, psychic cafe, so that I can do my readings and my psychic stuff, and people can enjoy, it's a safe place for pagans to be, where we welcome all religions, so the Christians can come out and have, Christian book nights, or, youth, whatever they want, and the Muslims can come, and the Buddhists can, like, hang out and come and do. Anybody and everybody in every religion should be welcomed there. But doing psychic readings, it's not just a niche thing. It's a welcome everybody there. And then working that towards, instead of opening up, another location, there's a word for those, franchise. Yeah, instead of opening up another franchise, use that to expand to build on. So I'd have to get a huge property, and then I could put a restaurant in. And then from the cafe, the restaurant, working towards, another business would be like garden would probably just be thrown in there, not really a business thing, but to make it grow an epic garden that get it all certified. It would have to be certified so that I can provide food for the kitchen, for the restaurant. Um, and then move that, the money that the restaurant makes and the psychic cafe, hanging out where I can do my readings and I can do my divination and I can work on, stuff for spells and stuff. And, that would bring in income. And to do, when the restaurant gets big enough, to work the studio. The studio would have to be there. He wants to build a pole barn and put my studio in a pole barn. So that would have to be built up to the point where it would go from local um, studio or work shed, to a public one where, say, somebody's coffee maker broke, they can come tinker on it. Somebody's, the sewing, would have more than one sewing machine so that somebody can go and repair their shirt or change their shirt into, their sweater into mittens and a hat or something, or to make, or into a quilt, or into, that somebody would come and bring, I want epic shredders. Precious Plastic is a cool company that I would love to hook up with. I want the shredders, where they take and they get people to um, collect plastic around in the area, and they clean the plastic, they separate the plastic, and they shred into. You can shred all the plastic that you gather into little pellets, and then these cute little pellets. Somebody else around the world has something where they mold um, the pellets into, like, say, filaments for 3D printers, or they mold it into different plastic, redo into different shapes. Um, and then they sell the products that's there, so there's all sorts of it makes money. It's supposed to bring money into the community to help people out, and third world countries have it where they can bring in a revenue, um, and I really want to be a part of that. So that I can run Precious Plastics and just shred plastic, and also get a few more shredders so that I could shred other things to create other, where I can break down, say, an old couch or something into its components and find salvageable parts, or recreate the plywood and to shred that sucker into something where I could re-plywood something that, and there's so many things. Or the springs. I have this, like, vision for the springs. It could be wrong. It could change. They could do other things where I take the spring, I take a section of the spring, and I put where I hang it up, chain it up, and I can put, like, plant, put in this, like, netting, uh, or this like chicken wire, so that you could put, like, hanging baskets to make for plants, to make for just hanging baskets, period. I might do a few of those into the where I can hang them up to do into the to the RV. And the other part is, as much as I want to build this permanence, I also want to travel. I also want to hop into an RV and be able to go. And I want to live this ambiguous lifestyle where I'm building up permanence, but I'm also building up travel. Because I'm crazy and I'm bipolar, and I can do that. I have that living in me. And I can do those at the exact same time. So the fun part is, I would have to employ people that I could depend on, train them so that they're able to do things well enough to run the castle, while I'm off on a trip, to go see the world, to write, to take pictures, to do, the things that I love to do, to go see the kids that live in another state with their dad, to do the things that, to travel, to bring the world together, not during COVID. not during a pandemic, but when the pandemic has been after the vaccine is working and things have calmed down and people are safe. And it's just like a distant memory. Like, not just after the vaccine, but afterwards, because even with the vaccine, you gotta wait a bit. Be patient. We'll live through this. We'll work together to live through this. And but to be able to travel the world and to know that people have jobs that they can come to, and that they have a home that they can live in, and that it accepts them, and that they can come to, and the fact that the wifey fell on hard times and moved back in with her husband that she's separated from, and the fact that because our kids are a danger, my kid is in danger from her kid, that I moved out in a toxic city. And I will tell you that. And it's private, and they may not. Fun part is if you're a stranger and they don't know you, and you might be their kind of person, you might have a wonderful experience with them. It's just not for me. I can't do that to my kid. Like, that's not a healthy environment for my kid. I can't. I had to get my kid out of there. I have to get out of there. I had to get out of the whole environment. I was becoming toxic, and that's not something I want to be. Um, and the small little bits of judgment, from the wifey start to get to me. Perfectly wonderful to strangers. I mean, they have great relationship with other people. I may be too much for them to handle. I may be too, bipolar for them. And yes, I have negative things where I talk negative about people and myself. That's just part of who I am. Just like he's, not always considerate. And most YouTubers don't talk like that. Most of them are nice professional people, and they're the ones I enjoy watching. And they're careful about what they show. And you guys are getting all my dirty laundry, whole life story. Isn't that great? So I have to figure out, if I don't get organized, that castle's not going to happen. I have this. I love martial arts. I love learning new languages like ASL. I love, you know, I love these things, and I love to incorporate them into my life. And it's a lot of things where people are like, I can handle a niche. I'm good. My whole life is this niche. My whole life is this uh, state sports group. And we do all these parties, and the biggest time of the year, biggest celebration of the year isn't Christmas. We do this the event. The whole year is all around this whole sports thing. My whole life is centered around, I've got sports cups of this state, team. I've got plates and everything. I've got this whole devoted space in my house to this one thing, and I am not that niche. So that may decrease the probability of me succeeding on YouTube. If I had a niche, it would be witchcraft. I love the craft. I love learning about divination. I love learning about herbs and spices. I love, learning about how magic works. I love how it's magical. Even when you learn the whole science of it, the whole tested over and over and over again, um, treating variables and learning how this actually works and how the subconscious, you have a spell with blue association, and you have all this intent, and you're trying to work on it's not so much you have to do this on a certain moon and a certain color, a certain goddess, because America has taken and strewed all these types of pagan religions from all sorts of parts of the planet. So you got your ancient Egyptian god right next to your Celtic Freya, right next to your, you know, right next to your Indian god, right next to your Like, I'm like, I had no idea. Like, Shiva, is it Shiva? Shiva? Right, yeah. Like, right next to Shiva, and you got right next to Gaia, you got right next to, like, it works for them, and they can do that, and they enjoy it. And, like, to me, that doesn't resonate. That, to me, that I have trouble with that. As the Lord and Lady, the living Lord and Lady, the whole Gaia, the whole spirit of the earth that we grew up on, that we're the children of, and the universe that is both expanding and not retracting. It's what's the word when things are in of themselves, back down to the microscopics, Horton's, who's who of Horton's who, where you get, ever, infinitely out expanding and infinitely inward. I totally believe in that as the significance of the universe, the embodiment of the male aspect of the embodiments of the world of the, it is what it is. It's more of logic versus the intuitive feel of the feminine aspects that coincide as one. Um, but in a duality. The ambiguity that we live in of itself that we have to recognize in order to expand. Um, I believe in that. That is who and what I am. That witchcraft, it's not just the intent. Intent is great, but intent is a stepping stone towards the, I intend towards this, I expand towards this. The law of attraction is funny because a lot of people will sit there and talk about law of attraction. I'm like, yes, yes, that's right. And then all of a sudden they'll talk about something about law of attraction. They'll keep going. I'll agree. And then they'll talk about something. I'm like, woo, no, that's crazy in a way that I'm not crazy. And that's not, wow. No, that I can't agree with that being accurate. I can't call that accurate. I can't call that right. I can't call that the law of attraction. And I'll be like, yeah, no. And I'm like, you're in a cult. You're in a beautiful cult, and people love you. And that is not an emergency, so I am not going to respond to that. And I don't need to be notified 50 times for one thing. Actually, it's like 3 to 5 different notifications. My computer notifies me because it's synced with my phone. My phone notifies me that there's something on this, not, uh, what do you call it? Not Edge, not Chrome. What, it's what those are. Uh, Explorer, not Internet Explorers. Things that surf the internet that bring you the pages. But yeah, that's the way I do the world. My religious, that's what I believe. That's, the growth of everyday actions, words, thoughts, beliefs, um, the the embodiment of the mind, body, heart, and soul and spirit. Those are the things that I believe in. Those are the things that I work towards, that I strive towards, that I learn and I discipline on. Um, and I love it, and I'm going to do my nails because the fun part about my nails, I say this with a fun part, sarcasm, a sarcastic fun part, is that I've been doing dishes more often. And every time I do my dishes more often, my nails die to the point that they get painful. They crack, they split, they're brittle, they're weak, they're all sorts of, because I don't eat enough protein, don't stay hydrated enough, and don't take care of the cuticles. So, and then I start where they have raggedy edges that end up clipping the kids, and I end up feeling miserable. And then I don't do dishes, and it's a vicious cycle. So I still need to do dishes because I'm not going to live with pests in the house. And I have actual energy and muscle. My muscles don't feel like they're dying and heavy and because I've been working on less sugar. I'm working on staying away from electronics, staying away from, as I'm on YouTube, staying away from metals as much as I can. I was doing a lot more of that, and then that's petered out a bit this last couple of weeks. It's petered out. I've been more metals, a little bit more electronics, and like that cooking, that took a lot out of me. All that metal, sitting there holding the pan, trying to like hold the bowl, stirring things in a bowl because my parents have a whole bunch of metal bowls, like eating food out of metal. Oh, isn't a bad thing until it accumulates how much I eat out of metal, how much I drink out of metal, how much I, metal everything. So I still do it. Like, I don't want to. So I'm moving everything towards not metal. I noticed that my roommate, after I left to come here to help out my mom and to work, um, bought a whole bunch of like metal travel mugs. Like, or not a whole bunch, but two, and they're using more metal. So like, that's okay. I do the same thing. I was allergic to turmeric, so I just put. My parents have turmeric here, so I've been eating turmeric because it's a happy food. It helps feel happy, and it's an anti-inflammatory. Is it? No, put ginger. It's an anti-inflammatory and some other anti-inflammatories. Pomegranates, all sorts of fruits, vegetables, fiber. She can't do fiber. Beans, so I eat beans and all sorts of other things too. So, and yeah, I just work. I don't do it, despite her, but I'm doing it because I can do that now that it's available and it's something that helps my health. So I'm doing it towards being a better me, to help me be the best me I can be. It's not despite for her at all, actually. But it's available now that she's not there. I don't have to avoid it. But the fun part is that if she eats her separated husband's food, she gets to go to the hospital because I leave him food. I've got turmeric in the I mean, it's kind of like a curry. I've added a curry kind of thing to the soup. The second soup, I make soup once a week. I enjoy, for my lunches, my preference and the way I would do things would be a combination of these three items of any type of food, of any type of sandwich, or with any type of soup, or with any type of salad. So it's a combination of like soup and salad, or sandwich and salad, or salad and soup. So I get like a big old chunk of veggie on my sandwiches, or protein and veggies like vegetable soup, beans, peas, salads. So I like to do those combinations. Those are my personal preference. Um, and then for dinners, I like to take and anything that's in the house leftover. I've been trying to incorporate more leftover, and with so it's what's left in the house, and create a whole new dish with my dinners. So that's why I don't sit there and plan out my dinners. Like I can do a thing of like a chili on a Sunday, and then do my pasta on a Monday. And so it would be like that way I could put chili on spaghetti or something. And then with Taco Tuesday, chili in my tacos, or chili on like nacho chips with like tortillas, and with the chips and the pasta would have been with salad, like just build up throughout the week. So you're eating something that's essentially a week old. What's left of a week old? But you incorporate it or cook up, as I term it, as I coin the term. Like my kids don't do macaroni and cheese, so like I would do a thing of macaroni and cheese. I would do a thing of macaroni. I would add cheese to mine. I would add spaghetti sauce to theirs, or pesto. I'm doing less pastas, which is like maybe pastas once a week. Because one, how much water today's go, so that I'm not using up my whole water tank on a Monday. If I'm in the middle of somewhere where I'm not docked, getting water, that will be interesting. So I'm watching all these RV shows on YouTube. I love you, your RV people and your van people on YouTube. I love you guys, my travel people. So learning how to, so like for the goal for that would be like start off with a. I was going to start off with like a tent or an RV or a pop up even, and move up to my own little RV. I was thinking of GoFundMe or something to RV things to travel to go see my oldest children. Anytime that I can incorporate with their dad, just pick up and go, or coordinate with their dad that I can go see their concert, school concert or something, or school basketball game. That in another state. That's the thing that's been. I can't. Like the thing that I hate is that I can't just go see their school events, their concerts, their games, their events. And I've had an idea. I might sell the idea about one of those monthly subscription things to do for divorced parents. So I might come up with a pitch that I would love to run that business, but that's too much on my plate. So I might sell ideas because I come up with a ton of ideas, and that's who and what I am. So selling those ideas. So I'd have to figure out how to pitch that and sell those. I should layer this like a lot. So I've started wearing these nylon gloves because I hate the smell of um, latex. Been wearing like nylon gloves for dishes. My parents has a whole box I've been reusing, and if a hole should come or anything, and it hasn't, like my latex gloves, I went through so many latex, and I felt horrible for the environment. So I'm learning and converting towards nylon. Box of napkins. Hour, I think an hour is too long. So mornings I'll probably do a half an hour. But I'm gonna let you guys go and actually get my work done. And then tomorrow's video will be on Monday. So it'll be me getting my day organized, my week organized, and my month organized. Continue with that. So, Monday's video, I'm going to hit an outline on Monday's video. It's already hit an hour, so I'm going to go over my hour. I'm going to start, I want for a goal for tomorrow's video. So, YouTube, Monday's YouTube. And it'll be December. It'll be for, we're going to outline the video for tomorrow. So that I'm not sitting there, we're going to quit babbling. Do I believe me? Do you believe me? Comment if you believe that I'm going to quit babbling on my Coffees with Karen's vlogging about my, crazy life. Alright, so it'll be December 21st. And Yule! So for my Yule video, we're going to touch base on Yule. And we're going to go into a nice little spiel about Yule. We're going to cover Yule video. So it's a great holiday. So I'm going to cover, I don't want to cover more than say 10 minutes. About, so you will be a beginning, will be a fresh start, will be a start of the year. We'll go into organizing my day, week. It'll be a goal, it'll be a focus. Then I won't have to do the whole month, so I'll spend 10 minutes of it on that. We'll spend 10, less than a minute to 5 minutes, 1 to 5 minutes, 6 minutes in here. Okay, 1 to 5 minutes talking about how the anti-fog recipe is going. Anti-fog recipe. Life recipe. That's not how you spell recipe. Let me just add letters. Alright, so that's roughly 16 minutes. 10, that's 10 to 15 minutes of a half hour. We're going to keep it to a half an hour. The goal will be 30-minute video. Okay, and then we're going to talk about the holiday. Probably about 10 minutes talking about Yule, if not more. Yule. 10 minutes. Talking about our celebration for Yule. Things that we want to do. So, cover Yule. We'll have I can start a little morning. You guys can join me. We'll do, you do your morning rituals. You do your morning, communion with, the whole, divinity, goddess and God, and you do your whole, self, and you put your intent in, and you do your, so it'll be the daily devotion, be the Yule daily devotion. I'll let you guys join me. I'll show you guys, lighting candles, doing the whole, daily devotion, but it'll be a special daily devotion, and it'll be a Yule daily devotion, because everybody does their daily devotion where they light the candles and their incense and everything. They get, things going for, I don't remember setting that up. Daily devotion. Alright, so Yule, you guys can join me for my Yule daily devotion. And then we'll end with, we'll probably spend, right now I've spent 3 minutes trying, so we'll spend 5 minutes of going over what we want to go for Tuesday's video, the next video. Alright, so Tuesday video, or morning with, or the Tuesday vlog. Okay, Tuesday video. Discuss it with you guys. You guys can comment, and you guys can, more of what you want to see. So then, okay. So then that, and then we'll, so I have to figure out intro. So one of these days I'm going to start putting intros in my videos. Those are uploads, and then, run. I don't think I can run and then upload intro and stuff to my, okay. So, I'm going to do a video one of these days. Just a note, a reminder. My brain dump here somewhere's brain dump. I've got a brain dump. That's right. Brain dump. Yeah, there we go. Brain dump. I'm gonna put down. I want to do a video on talking about subscribe. That way I can point out, because I feel like those just joining YouTube, like if you break your YouTube experience virginity on watching one of my videos, God bless you. Okay, then God is be with you forever and ever. Subscribe and notifications. Like, there's always that first experience where I break my teeth on something and I jump in, and I feel like liking, subscribing, and notifications that everybody's doing in the YouTube videos needs to be explained. And notifications. So I'm going to do a cute little spiel on what it is to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, and what that means. And I'm going to do a video so that I can incorporate that into my videos. So if I talk about, if you don't know what it is, I don't feel like I have to sit there and talk about it, talk about it. Video. I don't feel like I have to sit there and talk about likes, subscribes, and notifications if I do a cute little video on likes, subscribes, and notifications. Because you want to like my videos. You want to subscribe to my videos. If you're already subscribed, that's awesome. I love you guys. I love you 15 people in this world that are just like out there. I'm like, oh, I have 15 people that love me. Not so much love me, but love to listen to me like la 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 la. Or they're willing to listen to me la 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 la. So yeah, like, subscribe, hit that notifications, because I upload videos randomly and you want to be notified when that happens. Because I randomly hit stuff and talk about shit, talk about my kids, talk about cats, talk about, the universe, talk about religion, talk about anything and everything. Because I don't, have a niche on YouTube yet. I am not a niche. I am the niche. I am the fray of niches. I am the fringe. This is why we clean, do dishes, and all that other stuff. Spiders. They attract spiders. Where's the fruit fly? I just had all the kids take care of. I bet we spilled something, dropped something food-wise, and I've got to find it and clean it up. We have a fruit fly, and they attract the spiders. I had a spider come down because I had a fruit fly bothering me. Didn't know I had a fruit fly until after we killed the spider, got rid of the spider and the fruit fly. I was like, oh, you made it safe for me to come fly around. I'm like, so take care of food. Take care of, take care of food. Take care of dishes. Take care of all this stuff. It's after my coffee. Clean. Oh my God. Cleaning things. When your life is overwhelmed, because you see all these beautiful videos, people cleaning, and I love them, and I love watching it, as much as I'm like, yeah, that's not in my life, but so you guys are going to see the nit and gritty of, like, I have this overwhelming life, so you're going to see it get to the point where it's all pretty, but I have to get there. I have to keep going. You have to see this, like, unbounded stuff that I go through. There will be a video, I'm still getting through it, where I sort through this, and you guys will sort through it with me. Just a box of random stuff, and we'll arts and craft this, or I'll hang this. This was supposed to hang up, and this will hang up in my workshop, but it'll make it pretty and travel with me. This is just for my from baby formula. I've had this. My kid's not on baby formula. I've had this I don't know how long, but it'll hold my. This will be for the glue gun. All the glue guns, extra little mini cute little glitter packets or whatever packets of glue. And it'll hold things, and I'll decorate it, and it'll be pretty. And when I get a permanent studio, or I get something semi-permanent, I will attach it to the wall, and I will have a cute little stand in there for my glue gun, where I'll take the stand out, and I'll take the glue gun out. It'll be sitting there hanging, and I can get into crafting. It'll probably hang by an outlet. I'll probably have it where an outlet, so that I can take it down, bring it, and then just plug that sucker in. That's what will happen. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'm getting through this. I have spent a good not yet 40 years of crap, of being so creative, being so scatterbrained, of letting these things where I'm going to take them and I'm going to turn them in to productive. I'm going to have these features. Each of these attributes to myself have positive and they have negative aspects. And what I do with them, the fact that I come up with great ideas, I can put them to use. The fact that I love so many things, organize them, and put them to where they go. Like I have great ideas. I should, instead of trying to incorporate them myself, I should learn how to sell my great ideas, the ones that I can't work on. Like I have a subscription box that I love. This concept. I have this great, credible new idea. I need it to work for me. I can't sit there and start up a business on this subscription box. Uh, but I can sell the idea. I can pitch the idea. I can keep selling the idea and pitching the idea. And then work on things for my castle. So I have to figure out, I love this, and this is a part of my life. I don't just, eat, live, breathe, martial arts. Though I would if I could, if I had the time, everything martial arts, everything, ninjas, everything, like sit there and, work 8 hours on, practicing working out on a bow staff and getting a dojo together. I would do that. I would so do that. But I also love, witchcraft. I also love, tarot cards. I could sit there and I could do tarot cards, all day long. And I can do, candle magic all day long. I could sit there and do, devotion and psychic readings and, read a person, work through a person, help a person. And it's, all these positive aspects are having negative impacts on my life if I don't utilize it. So the motto for our family that I've come up with, because a lot of people don't have mottos. A lot of people couldn't care less about mottos. My significant other couldn't care less about mottos. So I came up with it. It's something I made up. It's something she does. Like the fact that I came up with rules in the house to organize things so that we wouldn't get to a point where we are upset with each other. I love how he doesn't believe in me. I sit there and I live my whole life like, oh, you want to work, so let's do all these things so you can work. Let me put all the things on my life on hold so you can work. Why do I devote to people? I mean, that isn't working. I can't do that anymore. I'm not putting my life on hold for other people. It's like, let's do this together. It's like, yeah, my second marriage. It was before I believe it was before we got married, just after we got married, before he went into college. He's like, I want to do this with my, life. I want to go to college. I want to get this degree. I'm like, that's great. So when you're done with college, I'm going to pursue college and I'm going to go and do this. And we ended up having a kid. Yeah, it was after we had a kid. So it was after we were married. Yeah. Shortly after we were married, we had a kid. And then he decides he wants college. And I'm like, I want to go to college too. And I grew up where my parents don't have a lot of college work. And the fun part is, the sarcastic fun part is that it increases our children's chance and our chance to be successful if we show our kids how to be successful and go to college. So he got his degree and it came up to my turn. Like, I want to go to college after you. I want to succeed. I want to get into a career. I'm sick of these dead-end jobs. He's like, can you not go to college? It was hard. So this guy that was really great and I loved and, devoted so much to. And yeah, it got hard. And yeah, I was crazy and things were, I don't blame him. Like, apparently I took external, validation at that time. And I'm like, can I not succeed? Can I not strive to succeed? Because it was hard, because what you did, because things were crazy. Is that like, I'm like, okay, two, no, there was a third, my first marriage, can you not be religiously, you have to be, I was told I had to be Christian because I married him as a Christian, that I have to be Christian. And I was just learning about the whole, it was my Wicca phase. Some people stay in Wicca, some people don't. But it was my Wicca phase, because it was youth and it was all white light and it was in a point of healing. And it's like, I support his Christianity, but I love Christians. I have a bunch of Christian people that I love. And it's just, like, here are core points in your life. Like, a part of community is religion. A part of going and making your career and being part of the community and contributing to society. Is this a normal thing? I mean, feel free to comment if that's a normal thing, that just because things are hard, you shouldn't, your partner has to give up and has to give up the religious beliefs, or to give up their career points, or to give up their passionate dreams. Or am I just picking the three people in life that, did I not support them? Am I wrong? There's something here? Like, hold on here a minute. Was I not supportive? Was I not actually supportive? Did I think I was being supportive? And the actuality, my wifey sits there and nitpicks the small parts of you that, oh, you don't like this, there must be something wrong with you. Because I had him like, oh, you don't like Rocking Power Picture Show? I'm like, I'm not comfortable with it. Oh, you weren't born, soon enough. There's something wrong with you. Not there's possibly something wrong with the show, that it's okay for two people to not like the same thing. So I have to wonder, so not to be supportive. So hurtful as that is, to be, what I felt was supportive towards other people and not be supported back. Like, is that a normal thing? Or, 3 out of 4, four, there was, another dad to another kid, like, figure this. Do I, you know, these things, these core beliefs that I have on supporting other people, that go there and do that, and to, it's not getting reciprocated. Is that normal? Am I not good enough? Am I not a good enough person that I shouldn't be pursuing belief? I shouldn't be pursuing core beliefs that am I wrong as a person? Yeah, I know I'm crazy. I'm like, things aren't like, why would we practically advertise it in school and works and the store and all these norms and all these places and all these, community activities, mainstream, where the mainstream of society is that you believe in yourself, you believe in, follow your dreams, follow your passion. Why not me? How do I want to respond to this is, screw you. You're not the one living inside my head. I'm the one living inside my head. I'm the one that has to deal with the consequences. I'm going to do it. I'm going to be religious and daily devotion and do all the things that I love with witchcraft. I'm not going to give up witchcraft. I'm not going to have a Christian give up Christianity. I'm not going to have a Catholic give up Catholicism. Well, then that. No, I'm not going to hate you because you have Christianity and I don't. Like, go for it, dude. And like, go to church. I've watched him, my first husband, light up when he gets home from church. But I mean, like, he's sitting there trying to get everybody else to go to church with him. Then he wouldn't go the next week if they wouldn't go. And I'm like, no, dude, you love church. You have fun at church. You have a supportive people with you, and you should keep going to church. It shouldn't just be because other people aren't going to church. I'll go to church with you. I don't have to believe in Christianity to go to church. If I'm supporting somebody, I don't mind. I'm not, they're logically they should not be like lynching me or telling me I'm a horrible person or that, the devil or something. Like that's not right, where you go when you die, it's your belief, it's who you are, it's what you do, and like how you want to live your life. A lot of people are trying to live a life avoiding, damnation. I'm not living like that. I'm not going to tell you you can't live like that. That's wrong for me to do that. Flip to another, YouTube channel. Somebody tells you that you can turn off a YouTube channel. Somebody's sitting there saying you can't live like that. You can walk away. You can leave. You can turn around, and I mean that's a lot of sacrifice. And yeah, it's scary. No, I have no idea what's coming next, but I know this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm following. Yes, I'm unsure on the results, but I can't go to the results that I know, because the results that I know, doing things that I don't believe in, I'm, dying would be better. And people don't seem to get that. I've had people not seem to get that. A lot of people can get that. A lot of people support me. A lot of people talk to support me. And I love them. And they're wonderful people. And the people that don't support me are still wonderful people that I love. But I'm going to be wonderful over here while you be wonderful over there. And I'd rather us not segregate. But us coming together, it's a little toxic in a way that doesn't help society, doesn't help ourselves, doesn't help on what, no, live our best lives. No, and no. So, yeah, let me preach for another 2 hours. And like these videos, they go on forever. You don't have to watch the whole thing. I mean, obviously, my analysis says that you guys don't watch the whole thing, and that's okay. I don't blame you. I've gone through things where if I'm watching a video for an hour, it's because it's a motivational video or it's just playing in the background while I'm sitting there. I have to stop and take a kid up to the bathroom for the 100th time. And I think it's just emotional support for me to be there nowadays. She just, super fast. I think if that's a bathroom break where the bathroom break has to be super fast, I think that's what I'm there for, is to super fast get them through that. But, taking a 3-year-old on the bathroom break when the 3-year-old's all potty trained is interesting. She's been potty trained for like a year now. She's like, can you come with me? Carry me up the stairs? I'll hold your hand. We'll walk up the stairs together, So yeah, I'm growing and I'm learning and I'm doing things, and I'm going to have to learn and do things. And you can do it with me. And it's not pretty, but it's worth it. Watching the change, watching the growth, watching the, where I become a better person, where right now I'm learning on how do I want to react to somebody who I love. And I get all the, warm, fuzzy feelings from just like a hug where you just melt. Like people who have kids, they melt when their kid hugs them. Like when your significant other melts you too. And you hug and everything is okay with the world. How do I want to react to that person telling me, no, don't have a castle. Don't help out with people that have helped out with you. Don't pay it forward. Don't help people. Don't believe in a dream. Don't believe in permanence. don't grow a cafe, a psychic cafe, and a restaurant, and a workshop where people can bring in their broken things and create new things. Don't build a castle where you end up with a bed and breakfast later on, you know, or don't house people that have fallen on hard times and you've watched them fall on hard times and know that they're going to be okay if somebody just gives them a place to stay and that they can go to work, or, have it where there's a bus and transportation that they can go to work. You can go and pick up, a group of people and bring them to an event, or go and bring them out job hunting. Have a bus just job hunt. Get a bus license. Don't do those things. How do I want to react to that? Well, the best way is not to sit there and tell everybody else in the world the problems. It's to address. I'm pretty sure I've verbally attacked his ass. Yeah. I bitched because it's an attack on the resonation of my core. I'm working on my core. I don't work on the things that people see. I don't work on my interactions with strangers. I've seen somebody, my roommate, be a wonderful stranger and to attack the beliefs of people that you can't do this because just because you're tired doesn't matter because I've stayed up late. Well, no shit, you haven't had any sleep. Of course you're tired. Doesn't mean that I'm not tired. Doesn't mean that hanging out with metals all day doesn't make me fatigued, doesn't make me exhausted. The fact that I eat a ton of sugar doesn't, make me exhausted. The fact that I've, had somebody up my butt who I love and want to give them all the attention that they need, and the fact that I want to give them all the attention that they need and I don't have that energy. The fact that my muscles are sore doesn't make me any less tired, doesn't make me invalid. Don't look at me like, really? You're going to sit there and complain about being tired? So, yeah, maybe I want to work on my reaction to feeling tired instead of sitting there going, oh my gosh, I'm so tired, to, I'm exhausted and I'm tired and everything's sore and everything hurts. Why is that? And what can I do to make that feel better? Instead of feel like that's an issue because somebody's sitting there staring at me across the dinner table. And yeah. And then their kid does things to my kid because they've sat there and been judged for what they like or don't like. So, yeah, I'm going to sit there and complain about it because I couldn't complain about it at home. My goal is to have less of that in my videos. So we start with, okay, so what can I do instead of sitting there complaining about my significant other? How can I, instead of bitching at his face about how, well, baby, da-da-da-da-da, and then complaining about it to people in Siberia and India and probably Africa and probably Europe and probably across the state and probably right next door and probably my folks who are like, oh, she's on YouTube, I want to support my kid. Listen to, not listen to my total private life that now that I've moved out of their house and staying in the house, I have to sit there and listen to me complain about my personal private, not maritable, but my personal private partner matters. Let's see, what can I do instead? How would I feel good about it afterwards? Now that I've let that all out. So the next time I want to complain about something, how do I, instead of having a video go for an hour and a half of me sitting there complaining about things where I feel powerless, because that's a powerless play. Like somebody who doesn't have power, and I have plenty of power. I have to recognize that I have plenty of power and that I should use it differently, and that person's probably mostly upset because not of what I said or did, but because maybe it was difficult for them. And they recognize it's more about how they don't think that they have it in them to support me. Now, people aren't just bitchy about things, about other things that we bitch about, things that we complain about, things that we are angry about are really self-reflections. So I have to recognize that maybe he's more worried about himself and that I should support him. Maybe I haven't supported him like I felt. How do I really, 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 so all those emotions that I've just expressed that were happening simultaneously inside, because you gotta love these bipolar people who have the exact opposite, exact opposite reactions at the exact same time, have to figure out, you talk about your decision fatigue. Which ones do you externalize? Which ones do you allow this expression on your face? ASL, grammar is also on the face. So I have to learn to be in a conversation. That's what I mean. Like, so instead of thinking in the back of the problems I'm obsessing about, I have to externalize. I have to choose my externalization. I have to choose how I react on the outside. How do I actually want to? Because lovey-dovey times, I want to grow those. I want to grow the actions where we support each other. Those moments and those small moments that we've had them. We've had nice, warm, wonderful feelings. Like my ex roommate, we've had moments where we sit there and we talk and we agree and we come to terms with how we should culture and how we should react, and she's had wonderful times. And the fact that I'm not happy with her, and the fact that I'm growing the horrible times, I'm growing the bad parts, and I'm growing the fear of how my kid can end up dead because of her kid. So you have to wonder, what do I want to grow? And so far, what I've grown, not the happiness, not the I could die and things are resolved and taken care of, or the fact that I could be hospitalized and the things are taken care of and things are okay and things are going to be okay, whether I'm here or not. If I'm in it, in this life, and reacting and having these times and doing this stuff and doing the things that I'm passionate about. I can't do these passionate things that I'm passionate about. These things that I love, and these things where I should be quilting. If I'm sitting there obsessing over and talking about on YouTube what my significant other said uh, that he did or didn't do that I liked or didn't like, you know, what do I want to grow on? Where do I want to focus? Where do I want to center? Those are the things that really matter, and those are the things that I want. So now I actually have to apply it. So triggers and things that really piss me off and really get me going and talking, I want to empower. So I should focus on powering and empowering things, and getting organized and my reaction. So yeah, talk about crazy. Talk about how many emotions did I just have about a subject. And go through all those things, and you watched me cycle through them, and and these are the things that your loved ones have to go through, that have like bipolar or attention deficit disorder, or that things that they have to go through. And it's not necessarily bad if you react good to it. And yeah, so I'm gonna leave you guys because my head hurts from wearing headphones. I have a headache from wearing headphones and not having enough coffee and things that I do. Oh, another video I want to do is the poor man's like skincare routine. That is sucker. There's a bunch of videos on that. I've watched a bunch of skincare things, watched people spend a whole bunch of money on skincare routines, and my skin needs help, but my skin is doing better than what it was. The fact that it's healing. So I want to show my skincare routine. My pores aren't where they need to be yet. It's still kind of like open. The rosacea from not being hydrated enough will go away is I hydrate. So these are the progress things where you can go from this video and you can watch next year's video. And I should have healthier skin. I should have prettier skin. Um, yeah. So you'll watch, where I'll talk about, whereas when he comments something, it's not a big issue and it's not worth talking about because I handled it in a way that I was empowered. I empowered myself. I was, like, oh, and he went in a whole nother direction where, okay, I could see how I could support you and you're doing, this is a real thing. And he comes to terms with it a lot faster and accepts, me a lot faster if he wants to, if he chooses to. And it's barely even worth talking about because nothing big happened because of it. It didn't become a thing because my reaction to it wasn't a thing. I didn't totally bipolar out on him. Uh, you know, Whereas I'm more focused on, hey, check out this quilt that we made, or check out this crocheted, crocheted, thing that I did, this yarn, this project that I crocheted, and check out these new moves that I learned and martial arts and all these new exciting things. And hey, we're breaking ground on the cafe is done so well, and look at us, we're going to break ground on the restaurant, and it's exciting. And I've gotten, I've gone out and gotten sponsors, and we're all excited on this new restaurant, and those kind of things. Those are the kind of videos that I look forward to making, and look forward to having you with. And like, wow, this person was really disorganized and like living a life that a lot of people mocked because she was horrible at things. She's lived like 40 years, and she's not been successful. She's been at this point where she has been through 2 divorces, and her oldest kids lived, she's lived this whole soap opera life, and now she's living this whole successful life, and this kind of thing. And like, here's the small points that she's done. And hey, I've had this problem myself, and hey, I really can get to that successful point. I was having problems with, reacting to my significant other, where I can actually go out and live my best life and live my passionate dreams because I was busy, not focused on that. And you know, progressed. Yeah, it's not easy, but I'm doing it. And I've had those problems. Oh, this is what I really want to do. All right, this is what I want to strive for. This is going to work with my life. I can see how this can work with my life. Or, hey, she's done this, but that can't quite work with my situation. I'm going to try it this way. And I know I can do this because she's had a point where she hasn't believed in herself, but I can believe in myself. And this is how I start believing in myself. That kind of thing, where next year's videos will be focused on something like that, and you can watch this progress. Whereas a lot of people I've watched, for a lot of YouTubers, I've watched them go, I'm successful. Look at this totally clean house. I used to have a horribly clean house, and I couldn't get anything done because I had a horribly disorganized, everything was wrong with my life because I couldn't find my shoes, because I had so much clutter. So, but here, you do this every day. Here's the tips that I use. This nice pristine house that took me a year to clean. And I watch their videos and I love their videos and I want to be their videos, but I don't know how to get to that point because I didn't watch them do their journey every day. So this is my journey on how to go from I have no money, I'm in debt. I'm going to get my business successful. I'm going to get my books written. I'm going to get my, you could see how I'm parenting better with my kids, or you've watched me, work out and learn martial arts and learn, these things that I love and how much I incorporate. I have all these ideas and you watch how I organize them. And this is the main focus. And these are cute little hobbies that I do. And here's my hobby videos. And here's my main life video. And here's how we got successful. And here's our struggles, with our food. The fact that we're eating healthier and that we, here's how much better I feel from eating a whole bunch of junk food that I would, to here's how I actually, buy, and here's how I actually do it. And, it's like, that's something I could try. That's something that might work for me. That's something that, no, 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 I can't do that, but I know I can, like, succeed with, doing it my way, doing what works for me. And to go from somebody who's not organized to this gorgeous, I'm happy living my life. I'm happy going to bed. The amounts of, I mean, before I had kids, I would be upset going to bed because the amount of fuck ups that I would do versus the amount of things that I succeeded at or accomplished in my life, and the things that I wanted to be, who I wanted to be, at this beautiful fantasy of who I want to be, and how this beautiful fantasy of who I want to be, but the amount of fuck ups where I'm like not going into that life versus, how much I've actually accomplished with my life was down here, and the amount of screwing up, the amount of fucking up, the amount of not succeeding was all the way up here. And I'd like to be able to go to bed where I can have a nice medium of I've succeeded or I've screwed up, or a nice medium of consistently how many days I can plot of having I've succeeded, I've accomplished things, I'm happy with the way life is turning out because the work I put into it is equaling, the amount of happiness I'm getting out of it. And I made this mistake, but it was a 5-second mistake, or a minute mistake in an 8-hour day, and out of so many minutes out of my day. And I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to obsess about it. It's okay. It's not compiling and not screwing up my life. So a couple of years from now, you get to see that progress. You get to see me plot. And you get to see my yays, I made it, and my whoops. And okay, we took the step back, and I'm not going to obsess about it. We're going to keep pushing forward. I've had the step back and like, oh my God, this day reminds me of how bad I fuck up, but it's okay. So you've just watched me nearly 2 hours of go through so many emotions of what I really want, plot a course of what we really want. Tomorrow's video, way shorter, way less painful, like physically less painful. So yeah, you're going to succeed at life. So Monday, especially since it's gotta be shorter, because it's not on the weekend. Weekends I'll do my nice long videos. That cooking video took forever. I might, those cooking videos, when I get into the editing, they won't be live videos. They'll be recorded videos and uploaded so that I can break it up and zoom and go like this faster, speed it up, and voiceover. So those are the things that I'm going to do. But being bipolar and being attention deficit disorder and being who I am shouldn't define that that's my identity. It's more like, oh, here's, Lady Caren. She's kind of cool. Here's her funny moments. Here's her everyday moments. And then, those are the things I'm going to want to grow. Those are the RVs and eventually, the gypsy wagon. I would love to, if I get a license to drive, like bus and CDL license, and get, be able to drive a rig, get licensed to drive a rig, that would be pretty cool to, drive a bus, drive things, get things going, and, drive, or to be able to just jump on a motorcycle and drive, because that's another thing that resonates and succeeding with, and learning to succeed. Those are the fun things that I'm going to strive to do. And you'll watch those successful videos and you'll know, oh, it's not just a successful person. It knows that, the revamp that I've had to do, like wow, that person really sucks, to, wow, that's a successful person. That's what I'm going for. That's what I'm striving towards. That's what I'm like, wow, this person's so happy with their life. This person is so complete with their life. This person is so healthy with their life. Um, and their family is doing better. They're, resonating with that. That's why I believe I can do a castle where I can house people that may have fallen on hard times. Um, and why I may not have been successful with a toxic house where I left, because not everybody's going to be toxic to my kid. Not everybody's going to be, and not everybody out in the world, is going to be somebody that I fight and leave. Um, and then the way I react will probably make the situation better and easier so that the person can be safe and wonderful and live and focus on getting to where they want to be in their life and for their family, and if they have a family, and to the point where they want to be, um, and where it's a healthier society. And by the time I do that, the meteorite is going to hit Earth and destroy mankind as we know it. Shh, don't jinx us. Knock on wood. Where's wood? That's closest wood I'm going to get. Cardboard. Wood. I'm sitting in a wooden chair. Whoa. What is that? Oh, that's a reflection. There's a lens popped out. There's movement. I'm moving my hand. There's movement. Yes, be crazy, but be your crazy. Be centered while you're crazy. Being centered, it's different. It didn't come out right. I had a roommate once, not this last roommate. I had a roommate once that I lived with, and tried to explain that when you focus on one thing, um, it's like watching a ceiling fan. Sitting there, that really changed my life. Watching a ceiling fan changed my life. Um, if you focus, if you get it spinning really, really fast, you can't see the blades. But if you focus on the one blade and you watch that sucker spin, you can see it. And you can see the other blades and other things come into focus, and your whole life comes into focus. I had a niece who's like, I'm going to work on being the best mom I could be, being the best worker I can be, being the best, like making all this money and being there for my kid and being the best, like keeping the house all chicken. And I was like, and that's too much to focus on. You pick one focus beyond anything. If most mothers will pick being the best mother they can be, and that'll dictate what kind of job, career, how much money you make, and what kind of money you make for the best choices. The best choice of the best job where you can be there for your kid. Does your kid have a daycare or a place that a person is watching them while you go make money? If it's not, you might not make as much money because you're going to be there physically present for your kid more often. That's your focus. If you focus on 3 or 4 different other things, you're going to go crazy in a way that your life is going to fall apart. But if you focus on one thing, like me getting organized and focusing on just the witchcraft, that's the kind of mother that I'm going to be. The type of culture that I raise my kid, the type of belief that I raise my kid would be where I live. Would be a place that is tolerant of witches, not a place where they lynch witches, where that church was like, we do not condone the actions of our churchgoer. Where I don't live in fear. I don't live in a place where I'm going to be afraid to be a witch unless I have to make a statement. um, where being a witch, focus on being a witch, tells what kind of jobs that I get. If the job is like, people get fired because you're not Christian, or or your religious views, when that's wrong with the Business Better Bureau, like where we grow up to in America, you can't You shouldn't have to fire people, just because they're religious, sexual, skin orientation, skin orientation, but skin color, gender, it should be equality. Jobs should be equality for all. Like, yeah. Um, so I wouldn't be in a place where I'm shunned or horrible for being, like where it's horrible for a witch to live. A job where, if I focus on being a witch, where I make money would be something that I believe in. Uh, Towards jobs where it would supply me with my candle money, even if it's dollar store candles. Um, if it were to live in a world um, where witchcraft would be my certain, like where I can do where I live, the kind of clothes that I would wear if I had a choice, would be like natural fibers and stuff, something with the earth, less synthetic if I had money to choose. Otherwise, it's just making choice of taking the synthetic clothing and turning it into something that'll be more towards what I can do with, or taking the environment that I have, or the clothing that I have, or the type of way I raise the kids to work it towards the witchcraft. If I focus on that, it shows. This is horribly told. I'm so probably going to touch base on that subject again and describe it better and be able to articulate and be able to get that point across on what that means. Focusing on one thing will help all the other things fall into place. And you'll do, as a parent, you do anything and the best thing, anything and everything for your kid. But if I focus more on being a parent than I would on a witch, the pros and cons, because it's not so much a good choice or a bad choice. Shove that statement someplace. You make bad choices. Shove that statement. That statement has its pluses and its minuses. It's all about making a decision. And I've seen people like freak out about making decisions. Anybody else seen like the skyrocket of anxiety with people like just after, where it's a new parenting technique and we teach for parents to parenting class to teach kids to make good decisions. Whereas, how do you want to deal with the decisions you make? Deal with the consequences of the decisions you make. Instead of like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm going to do if it doesn't turn out the way I like it. What am I going to do with the fact that it did or didn't turn out with the way that I wanted it to turn out with? I'm going to make a decision. I'm going to live with that decision. I'm going to make the best of the results of the decision that I make. Because I have this fear that with my empty nesting syndrome, my kids choose not to live in the castle, choose not to take over the castle businesses. They don't want it. And I just have to hire from outside, or hire from somebody else taking over the business. How that's going to, the empty nesty syndrome, like I devote so much of my life that come when they move out, is that going to destroy me, like get me down and stop me from being able to function, debilitate me because my kid moved out? I don't want that. So my focus isn't on being a parent. My focus is on helping my kids be the best kids when it comes to parenting, helping my kids be the best kids that they can be, using the pluses, the more pluses I can out of witchcraft, like teaching my kids, you get exactly what you ask for. If they're asking for something, so that they can learn to ask for what they need over what they want. A lot of people, given exactly what they ask for, really learn to, instead of like, oh, that person's going to read my mind and give me what I really, really need, versus what that person's going to, I should ask for, this is what I want, but this is what I need. I should ask for what I need, or this is what I want, and I'm not going to get what I need or I'm not going to get what I want until I take care of what I need. So to ask exactly, specifically to be decisive and knowing what they want and how to get what they want and how to get what they need and how to get exactly what they need. Um, generalization, that, those kind of things of witchcraft, to learn that there is divinity out there, their choice later on. They could choose to be Christian, they could choose to be not witchcraft or a Christian witch, or however they want to do things. I was raised Christian, that's why a lot of my references are Christian, non-denominationally Christian. That's interesting. But and my dad's Catholic, so that's interesting. He kind of like took a back seat with his Catholicism. So I don't know all about the saints, but I know of saints. And the most pagan thing in the world is, Catholicism is so pagan because they incorporated it in order for the religion to survive. Is that worth looking at? Is that an emergency? Oh, okay. Nope. I don't think that is. Okay. But yeah. So who and what we are is on center point. Alright. We love you. I love you guys. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Love you. You guys have a wonderful day. I'm going to hit end stream.